Freshman. The youngster showing out. And now we head to 165. Lots of experience between these two so far this year. Mac Church and Jared Keslar.
It's a young lineup for the Panthers, you know. It's something that Keith Gavin's excited for. It's a lot of guys who are showing him a lot of good stuff this year, put him in a really good position to compete with teams like Tech. And, you know, getting started there from a redshirt freshman and have a guy step up like that is something. Church goes for a little dump there.
Improve here, guys. This isn't stalemate.
Keslar has that arm deep in. Church not letting go of that elbow.
And a stalemate. They'll reset at neutral. Jared, you and I were talking about this before the match. The hotbed that Pennsylvania is. Would you bet that both these guys are Pennsylvania natives?
Oh, yes. Yes, they are. And you're going to see a lot of PA guys, a couple for Tech, and, you know, a fair amount of Pitt's lineup is PA. And it's something that, you know, a lot of people across the country are really seeing the level of wrestling that is occurring in that area. And there's the Lehigh Valley that you can pull from, and Pitt that you can pull from, and even up towards Erie and Erie Cathedral Prep. Like, you're going to have the first, well, I mean, possibly the first 5-time national champ coming from Erie. Like, it is all over the state, and not to take away from anywhere else. It's just that is a hotbed right now.
Well, to be fair, you may have wrestled in Pennsylvania at one time.
Maybe just a slight bias, but, you know, try and keep away from that. It really is the level of wrestling that we're seeing all over the country, and the growth of this sport with, I mean, it's honestly, I will say, I think a lot of it is due to women's wrestling. You know, it's able to bring more eyes and ears to this great sport. Anything that can bring wrestling to new audiences will help the sport grow, and it's exactly what it needs.
Well, Mac Church, number 30 at his weight class, is a redshirt freshman, 11-10 this year. And a guy who's kind of bounced weight classes a little bit, but in high school, man, he was the guy. 2-time Pennsylvania state champ. Is he someone who ever ended up in your bracket?
Oh, no. Thankfully, I never had to wrestle Mac Church in high school. But, you know, he was a force. He was a force at Waynesburg. And, you know, it's something that you were pointing out about that. His change in weight class throughout those years was never something I picked up at the time. And looking up now, his progression through his development rather as a wrestler, and now being able to see him at Tech is really cool. Keslar looked good, almost throw by there. Church able to stop it. Technical. Lewis Baker calls for hands in the face warning. Back on the line they go.
3-0 Pitt, number 18 team in the country, visiting number 10 Virginia Tech after a decision in the first matchup at 157. Jared Keslar dead at 500 so far in his sophomore year, both overall in the season and then in dual meets.
These are two 500 guys. They're both hungry, going out and I mean, second match of the night. This is where both of these guys want to be. This is a match that if they get this going, it could really turn a corner going into ACCs. And, you know, we've seen what Keslar can do against Sasso earlier in the year. Like, it's very important for both of these wrestlers here. And, you know, it's another stalemate after the first.
Virginia Tech crowd getting hyped up. The 65ers in front of us. Let's take a peek at some of the ranked wrestlers at 65 in the ACC. 3-0 right now as Stanford has a couple as they look to reset as a program overall, but otherwise your normal faces at 65.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Church down at 30. I mean, it's something that 6 of his 10 losses this year are the top 10 guys. You know, it's something that competition really does. Iron sharpens iron, but at the same time, there are going to be a lot of matches when you're wrestling those tough guys where you can't get it done on in some areas. And, you know, the record may hurt, but it's still a top-level guy. It's just the record may not show.
When you look at that list, too, Hamilton for UVA, a program that's not even ranked top 25 in the country, has their own ACC champion. You talk about parity and depth at each weight class in the lineup. I mean, that's an example of it.
it's something that I always love about wrestling is you can see the small Division I teams and even the Power 4 teams that really are on the lower end of their conferences, but still able to go out and get their guy. And it's something that makes wrestling great, really being able to go out and build your program around the guy and go from there. It's something that's really fun to watch.
Church defers bottom position to start period 2. Scoreless in our second matchup. Pitt leads 3-0 after a decision at 1:57 to kick us off.
Keslar really high on his back here. Threw a high half there for a little bit, worked on a little bit of a spiral ride, but Church has the hands. Oh, a nice return from Keslar.
What a pickup and a put down for Keslar. Showing his physicality against a guy who had to go up in weight this year for Virginia Tech. But Church walks away with the escape point.
Church, a nice sit out there, taking the momentum from the return. Some top guys, it's something that you got to keep wrestling through. You get a good return like that and you get a little bit complacent, and Church able to sit out and get his escape.
We'll go back to neutral here. Roby locked in right now. He's one of those coaches that's out of his seat most of the match.
He is. He's a very vocal and involved coach, and that's personally what I like. He's out there repping his guys. He's gonna, talk to the officials and hold you accountable. That's the big thing, and those are what the best coaches do.
Talk about being one of the best coaches. 4-time ACC Coach of the Year. In 8 seasons has produced 2 national champions. Church with the escape point after deferring for bottom position here in the second period.
Coach Roby calling for the reactions, getting the in and out movement, the fake shots. That's where the offense begins. There's just seems in the first 2 matches tonight, there's been a lot of hand fighting and can't get past that first line of defense of either wrestler.
That'll be the end of the second period. 1-0 after the escape point. Keslar has a chance to respond, and we could very well see ourselves going to another sudden victory through our first 2 matches.
Yeah, I believe it's possible, and I don't think it very well may not be our last time tonight. These are 2 teams that are out to get it, and another thing is it's not only heavy implications for a dual title. Every single one of these guys is trying to compete for a good seeding at ACCs. Every single one of these matches has an outcome that determines seeds at ACCs, which then sets you up for nationals. Every single one of these guys tonight wants it and needs it.
There's the escape, and we're knotted up at 1 in the final period. Same script writing from our first matchup at 57. 90 seconds to go. That Church started at 149 last year. Went 4-2 at that weight. 9-8 overall. Was up a weight class from that. This is his first time competing consistently at 65. Do you really see a size difference, or is this something that was planned from him with the growth spurt and such?
I honestly do seeing them in person next to each other. I do think it may be a growth factor. I think I've said to you earlier today, some guys that prefer not to cut weight, and go after it at their full ability. So it may be a personal preference thing, but he does look big. I just feel for him. He's getting really the best of the best competition, like I had said earlier, in his first year at a weight that was a big increase from his competition weight last year. That's tough to adjust to. Now you got a scrappy guy like Keslar who has given really, really good goes against top-level guys.
So Church in that sequence right before the whistle blew, fleeted, and it's a stalling point given to Keslar. So Church has got to go on the accelerator here with 40 seconds. He's got a leg.
Oh, Keslar hips down. Church is in deep. He needs to hike it at the leg, get through. He's got it at the knees. Got to keep circling.
Late push from Church.
Keslar kicks.
20 seconds to go. Can Church come back? Big mat return.
Defense from Keslar gets the underhook and it face to the mat there for Mac. That looked rough. That was some
Yeah, you saw him.
momentum going that way, and Keslar kind of hipped in with it, and it was straight forehead to the mat for Mac Church. That's tough to see.
Yeah, you saw him grab his head as soon as he got swung down there. And Roby looking closely at Church. Takedown points for Keslar on that. And Church will walk off.
Sure. Situation where you must be going into concussion protocol, and you know the match. You don't really necessarily have to medically forfeit if it's concussion protocol. I assume it's.
So we're just gonna have to wait on the call here if he's able to return and try and finish out the last 12 seconds. But right before that sequence,
Yeah, it's trying to.
tough mat return right there. And when you're a wrestler at such a high level and you hit the mat that hard, I mean, you have to imagine you've got to be knocked up pretty bad to actually show a sign of emotion after being hit that hard.
Absolutely, and it's something that, you know, sadly a lot of guys have to go through, and that's it's a tough situation. I mean, you got to feel for Keslar too. I mean, that's a tough position. You just hurt another student athlete that's out there giving his all, and you know, you still got to try and keep some sort of mental edge.
And Church will come back out. Did you have any doubt about that?
I honestly did. That was you know, shows the toughness from Church there. That's very impressive to get back out here and work for just 12 seconds, but you know, that 12 seconds really shows a lot of character.
12 seconds to go. Church got beat up in a little bit of a scramble right before the end, but he looks to come out and show some toughness. Big pickup, and that'll end the match. Put another 3 on the board for Pitt. It's 6-0. Great start for the Panthers.
It is. You got back-to-back guys in the middle of the lineup, Keslar and Evans, getting solid wins here in Blacksburg.
All right, we'll stick around here in Blacksburg. Stay with us as Pitt leads early against Virginia Tech.